Welcome to Runner News Network. I'm Jocelyn Ordonez.
And I'm Ernesto Leon. Thank you for joining us on our first broadcast of the spring 2023 semester.
After winter break, there were a multitude of events and many clubs and organizations starting up again. One of which is the Coalition of Chicken Enthusiasts, which Runner News Network got to interview. So stick around if you would like to meet the chickens at the Edible Garden.
Recently, CSUB hosted an open forum in the statewide search for a new chancellor, and we were there to cover the event. Welcome back to Runner News Network. On February 8th, CSUB hosted an open forum for all students, faculty, staff, and others in the community to chime in on what they want in the next chancellor for the CSU system. The chancellor will be overseeing nearly 500,000 students throughout 23 different universities in the state of California. CSUs throughout the state will be holding 3 different forums at different locations: the CSU Chancellor's Office at CSU Long Beach, the Dory Theater at CSUB, and San Francisco State University, as well as having 2 different committees, the Implementation Committee and the Assessment Committee, which will both help narrow down the search for a qualified chancellor. These open forums are being taken into consideration when creating the profile they want the next chancellor to fulfill. One of the first speakers at the forum was the Mayor of Bakersfield, Karen Go, who emphasized the importance of transformative leadership.
And as such, for the next CSU Chancellor, our community seeks a visionary, outside-the-box leader who will advance educational and workforce development pathways for our industries and further our region's innovative capacity.
We also got to hear from Elizabeth Bowen, who is on the staff of Project Rebound and an attending student who is on ASI as the Director of Student Support.
So we want a chancellor who is going to speak for these underrepresented groups. I'm talking EOP, I'm talking Project Rebound, I'm talking formerly incarcerated students, I'm talking students with disabilities, I'm talking veterans, I'm talking there's so many groups that are...
Bowen continues by saying that she wants a chancellor who will care about equity and inclusion, which is a theme that appeared by members of the community significantly throughout the forum. Many expressed a concern with the lack of diversity and a support for students with disabilities as well as students of color.
I also want to say this: do not use the pictures and images of Black people that used to work here to put on your website to make it seem like you're diverse when you were not. That's why I was looking forward to seeing in the Chancellor's search actual inclusion, diversity, and also a Black Resource Center, and also to add resources for students with disabilities.
We also got to hear from students like Ludi Ortega, who brought to light the importance of campus safety, bringing up the incident that occurred at CSUB not too long ago with an email being sent out to all students of a potentially armed individual on campus. Ortega gave kudos to how the university police handled the situation, but said how scary the situation was regardless. Many also talked about wanting CSUB to be more accessible for students, saying that there are too many incidents of students attending the university being homeless and this affecting the quality of their education. Many shared their voice at this forum, and we will continue to wait 12 to 15 months until the next chancellor is selected. Reporting for Runner News Network, I'm Ernesto Leon.
CSUB celebrated by having several events at the university. It started with the kickoff event organized by the Black Faculty and Staff Association, where this year's theme was Black to Action. Events like a gospel fest, a unity breakfast, and so many more were held to showcase the community's and CSUB's advocacy work.
Semester students had to take a very different approach to obtain their parking permits, with CSUB now utilizing a third-party website. Here with more information is Nicholas Castillo.
People who have bought parking passes in the past for CSUB are familiar there's one of 2 options. Either option A, you headed on down in person to the Student Services building, approached the parking department, and paid whatever fine there was going to be right there in person. Or option B, you head to the CSUB website, you went to the current students tabs, and you're able to find it in there. Either way, whichever you chose, you ended up with a fancy sticker that you were able to slap on your car's windshield, and it granted you access to any of the 15 parking lots that we have here on the campus. Provided you can find an open slot, that is. Well, I'm here to tell you to throw some of that knowledge away, because CSUB has changed how getting a new parking pass works. But don't worry, we're going to go over all that right now. The The process is now fully online. Even if you were to go to the Student Services building in person, they'll simply give you a QR code for you to scan that'll take you to the proper link. If you wish to just, not have to go down there in person to get the QR code, the link to the site is www.mycampuspermit.com. On the website itself, click CSUB as your college, click Buy Permit, and from there it's very straightforward. You'll sign in using your CSUB login info, make sure you have that Duo app ready to go, then just fill out the form with all the information required. It's going to ask you for your vehicle's make, color, and license plate, so just make sure you either have that knowledge ready or an easy way to check. After finally choosing between a car or motorcycle permit, you'll be given one last choice between the sticker or a hanger version of the parking permit. After you set up your payment method, you'll receive an email that has a temporary parking pass you can print out while your official one is being shipped to you. While there are now more steps, the end result's going to be the same. You now have a pass that will let you park on the campus premises throughout the rest of the semester. If you have any more questions, feel free to check out the frequently asked questions section in the current students tab on csub.edu. Thank you for watching. I really hope this was able to help anybody who had any questions, and I hope you're all having a great start to the semester. See you next time.
Are you interested in running for Associated Students Incorporated, in being a student leader and representing your peers? This past month, the candidate application period opened on February 13th, and your last day to declare candidacy isn't until March 17th at 11 a.m. To be eligible, you must have at least a 2.5 GPA. Undergraduate students must be enrolled in at least 12 units, and graduate students in at least 6 units.
To be in the running, you have to attend the mandatory candidate orientation on March 17th at 3 p.m., being held through Zoom. All positions are open. The election will be held on March 29 from 8 a.m. to March 30th at midnight. Runner News Network got the opportunity to interview the president of the Coalition of Chicken Enthusiasts, Yelitza Amador, where we got to learn about why they joined the club and what the club fights for, and the plans they have for the spring.
Hello, my name is Yelitza Amador. I am a third-year biology major, and one of the things that drew me to this club is that the main thing that it hopes to tackle is just fight food insecurity. And as somebody who's dealt with food insecurity in the past and still occasionally deal with it now in the present, helping make sure that people have a secure way to get food, whether it is chicken, eggs, not the actual meat, and just finding ways to sustainably get those chickens to lay the eggs is just something that makes me feel really content with my life. Focus was to help bring chickens to the edible garden. Our two founders last year, Najib and Viviana, actually had this goal of making it come to life because it was spoken as in passing, but Najib really had the idea to make it happen at CSUB, and sure enough, come February, the club was established. We're actually going to have our year celebration soon. It is happening next week on the 16th with our first meeting as well. So we've seen firsthand how the chickens in this coop benefit the garden, but as well as other people. We've seen how any food scraps that were left over, because as we know, the edible garden has a pop-up produce every Wednesday starting at 10, and a lot of that produce wasn't getting used, or it was left over, and we got really sad of having to always compost it. But now it goes towards our chickens, and when our chickens are happy, it allows us to produce more eggs, and more eggs help benefit students. We've had students who are vegan who haven't had eggs because they're worried about the conditions that they're kept in, but knowing that they can just come to CSUB's campus, get fresh eggs that are cruelty-free, range-free berries. We do let them free roam the garden as well. It's just a way to keep people state of peace of mind. So many of the ways that we rely is on donations and such. We've been able to strike up a bargain with a lot of feed and supply stores around Bakersfield. Some of them are very generous enough to donate any leftover chicken feed, chicken scratch, that they would like to see in the garden. It counts as a tax write-off for them, and it really helps benefits our chickens. And then people have been so supportive of making sure that our chickens are taken care of and well fed, including myself. I do my best to make sure that these ladies are always taken care of, whether that be in terms of me buying feed out of my own pocket or buying them enriched. It is tough having to always provide the food for the girls, but to see that we have chickens that are raised in the best environment that they possibly could, completely out of the kindness of people's hearts and stuff, it makes the price of feed and all the other necessities that they need, because people would be surprised about how much care and nutrients chickens actually require in order to keep them strong and healthy and constantly laying eggs and such. But to see the face of people when they receive a grown egg that was cruelty-free and made here at CSUB, it makes the effort and the cost that we put towards our ladies all the much worth it if it means somebody can eat. We don't really necessarily receive funding from CSUB. If we do get any funding from them, it's typically because we're hosting an event here at the garden and we need it, and of course, since it's typically activities that are done for our ladies, it benefits them as well. Like, for example, Halloween, we had edible garlands that were just tiny pumpkins that were used to feed the ladies and decorate them. But it's a lot of donation based. I'm gonna go ahead and set an active members. With active members at the garden, I think we have roughly 20. There's 20 or so members. We do have the regulars who would like to come out. You'll see them often in the garden volunteering. You'll see them at the pop-up produce if possible, but we have a strong set of volunteers who would come out at least. Despite, no matter how large or how small our club gets, I definitely know I have people in this club who are just as dedicated to fighting food insecurity and making sure these girls are safe and healthy, just as much as I want that to happen. We have such a diverse set of people in our club. We have people from biology, we have people from the arts and humanities, we have people from SSE. Like, it is such a diverse group. Like, in our officer group, we have so much diversity. We have me, a biology major. Our vice president is a double major in criminal justice and biochemistry. We have a business major as our treasurer. We have a digital media as our COOP captain, and we have a lovely liberal studies actually as our secretary. We are such a diverse set of people, and we welcome this diversity because it really does make our club just so fun to be around with. And we can always look forward for new diverse perspectives, always. We love to see how different people have their opinions on our chickens. It's been really delightful to hear all the opinions people have. We have 2 lovely chickens. We are hoping on expanding more due to some unforeseen circumstances. We've had to lose them, unfortunately, due to it's just so sad. Due to weather and such, we've unfortunately lost a few, but we have 2 that are doing very strong. They are, I believe, Americanas, and they have very fluffy cheeks. And we are hoping to expand more and get more chickens. We're shooting to at least have 6 or 7 around at all times. We're having them at 2. We're introducing them as pairs, and once we finish doing the reconstruction of our coop, because we have expanded as of late to make it bigger and to make it more, more enjoyable for them to be in. Opportunity for you to leave your CSUB legacy. Please keep a lookout for our fundraiser that we will be doing sometime this semester, where you will have the opportunity to name one of our lovely chickens. Yes, chickens can live roughly from 8 to 12 years depending on what breed of chicken you get. And if you would like to leave your CSUB legacy by naming a lady, feel free to contact me or any of the chicken club members to see how you can do that. If you would like to find out more information, you can follow us on Instagram at csub.cluck. And we would love to have you a part of our flock. Please check us out on Presence and Runner Sync. Thank you very much.
For this broadcast, runners.
Thank you for joining us for this edition of Runner News Network.
Keep up with the Runner online for videos and more, and enter your email to sign up for our daily e-newsletter.